Today we are just trying to find out the calculation of DFT and IDFT using your fast Fourier transformation method. Okay, so finding out your DFT and IDFT can be done with the different methods. We know that using your time domain formula, we can just try to find out my DFT and IDFT. Okay, we know that to find out by the definition of DFT, we have a formula x of k is equal to summation of n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 into x of n e to the power of minus j 2 pi n k by capital N, where k varies between 0 to n minus 1. Okay. Similarly, if you want to find out your IDFT, you people remember the formula, I think so. X of k is equal to 1 over n into summation of n is equal to, here k is equal to 0 to n minus 1 into x of k into e to the power of plus j 2 pi n k divided by capital N, where n varies, the n is nothing but the number of points of the DFT required. Okay, and of course here n varies from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, that is one of the method where we can find the DFT and the IDFT. Okay, so of course the comparing with the finding out the DFT and IDFT, when n becomes more, it will become a lengthy procedure. Okay, we know that because in the time domain formula, I have to substitute for n is equal to 0 to n minus 1. Of course, I have to substitute k is to 0 to n minus 1. Okay, for n is equal to 4, when it becomes 8, the number of multiplications, the number of additions required for calculating your DFT will becomes more. Okay, so we people know that, and because of that, what we are trying to do is, instead of going for finding out the DFT and IDFT using your what we can call it as a time domain formula, what we are done is we are trying to do the finding out the DFT and IDFT using your FFT. So we know that FFT is nothing but your fast Fourier transformation. In the fast Fourier transformation, the number of computations, that is nothing but the number of multiplication and the number of additions, is being completely reduced, and that part we have seen also, computation part for your addition and subtraction, sorry, addition and multiplication we have seen. Okay, so we know that for n is equal to for 4 n is equal to 8, the number of computation for addition and multiplication, it is becoming almost same when the number of n is less. When n is becoming more, the number of addition, or what we can call as a computation, is getting more by almost a 20% in your time domain formula. So I can reduce that by using your fast Fourier transformation method. Okay, so the program what we are trying to do is a calculation of DFT and IDFT. The calculation of DFT and IDFT using your what we can call it as the FFT, using your FFT. Okay, using your FFT, calculation of your DFT and IDFT can be done with a one simple keyword, because we know that the solving out in the flow graph, that is each and every step, that is for n is equal to 8, and what with the method we are trying to follow, it is a radix, yes or no, that is a radix 2 DIT FFT algorithm. If it is a radix 2, that is nothing but it is a decimation 2, that is nothing but we'll be finding out the what we can call it as a flow graph or algorithm in the form of, the computation will be in the form of 2 to the power of r, yes or no. That is, if you are taking n is equal to 8, I am representing 8 as 2 to the power of r, that is nothing but 2 to the power of 3 it will be. Okay, so that is nothing but 3 stages of a decimation will be there. I'm just trying to share my screen here. See, that is a number of points, n is equal to 4. For the computation of direct computation and the FFT computation, there is a separate what we can call it as the formula for calculating it. For the direct computation, we know that it is for the computation, the first column, the second column represents the the number of additions, and the number of third column represents the number of multiplications. That is for your direct computation. Similarly, with respect to the fast Fourier transformation that is the fast Fourier, what we can call it as a transformation, the now complex addition and the complex multiplications can be found by a simple formula, that is n into log 2 of n for addition. For multiplication, n by 2 into logarithmic of base 2 of n. Okay, so which we have seen in the earlier classes when we are doing module 2. Okay, so we can see here that when n is equal to 4, the complex number of additions are required will become 4 into 4 minus 1, that is 4 into 3, that is 12. Okay, with respect to the multiplication, it was 16. But when it comes to an FFT, it is becoming 8 and 4. If you people remember, those who attended the class, you can know that for how we have obtained this addition and the multiplication formula also been done in the class. Okay, it has been explained and those part has been shared with you people. Okay, it is there in your notes. You can just go through once again. But don't worry that in the examination they will not ask you how you have got this formula and all those things, but you should know all those things. Simple. It will be better if you know all those things. Okay. Yeah. Coming to the higher value of what we can call it as the n value, you can see here when n is becoming 32 or 64. If I take an example of 64, n is equal to 64, the number of complex additions was 4032 and the complex multiplications were 4096. But when it comes to the FFT, the fast Fourier transformation, the number of addition and the multiplication is 384 and 192. Okay, so if you just compare here, it is almost increased almost of more than 10 to 15 times. Okay, so we can see it is 192. The number of multiplication here in FFT is 192, but the number of multiplications in the direct computation is 4096. It is almost the double, the 20 times more. Okay, so we can see that the number of additions or number of computations can be reduced using your FFT. Okay, using your FFT. So what we are trying to do here is, in this particular program, we are trying to solve the problem, that is using your FFT. Okay, computation of DFT and IDFT by your fast Fourier transformation technique. And for doing it, as I told you, that is we are representing in a form of 2 to the power of r. That is nothing but n is equal to 8. I can represent in the form of 2 to the power of 3. So there are 3 stages of the decimation will be there. And in those 3 stages of decimation, how the decimation is being done, we have done a DIT FFT algorithm. In this particular type of a decimation, what we have done is, the first thing is we will try to divide the given samples, that is n is equal to 8 samples, in the form of even and the odd samples. Yes or no, we'll be dividing it into an even and the odd samples. That is nothing but totally 0 to 7 samples will be there for n is equal to 8. In those samples, I'll be dividing those samples into even samples first and odd samples next. Okay, so I'm dividing into 4 samples separately. Then that is called as a first stage of a decimation. Then in the second stage of a decimation, once again I will divide those 4 samples into an even and the odd samples. Finally, I'll be getting it as a 2-point DFT, and those 2-point DFT once again dividing into a even and odd. I'll be obtaining the 3 stages of the decimation. Okay, so 3 stages of a decimation, and for doing it in 3 stages of a decimation, of course the program will become completely a lengthy complex, because we have to find out the decimation for each and every step. Then I have to consider those answers for the next step. We know how to do in a theoretical part. Okay, So we are not going to do it in a theoretical part now. I'll be trying to do using your what we can call it as a programming using a one simple keyword. The one simple keyword here which I'm using here is called as an FFT. Okay, it's enough to get the computation, all the three stages of our computation, not only the three stages, that is if my n is equal to what 16, or it may be n is equal to 82, any 32, anything it may be. I'm using the one simple keyword, that is FFT. So it will take the care of itself for uh, finding out the what we can call it as the finding out the DFT and the IDFT for your computation using your FFT method. Okay, so sequence, we have entered the time sequence, then enter the number of points of a DFT. Okay, so we have to enter the number of points of the DFT, whether it is an 8-point DFT or anything. It may be 16, 4-point, anything for that matter. To enter the number of points of a DFT. And the one simple keyword what I'm trying to use here is x is equal to FFT of x comma n. So by default, it will just try to take the time sequence and the n what we have entered. Both the things, whatever the data has been given, it's enough to calculate the entire thing. That is nothing but to calculate the what we can call it as the DFT, that is the DIT, or it may taking in a DIF algorithm, but it will get the output, the complete DFT of n is equal to 4 or n is equal to 8. Okay, so the remaining part is nothing but the plotting of your waveforms, or what we can call it as the graphical representation of the picture. Okay, so the only these three lines, it's enough to get the output for your FFT. Okay, so these three lines is enough to get the output. But anyhow, we are trying to plot the remaining things also. That is to get the waveforms and those things. So remaining all those things is taking care for your finding out the what we can call it as a graphical representation part. Okay, so in the graphical represent, and here in this question I'm trying to do both the things. That is nothing but I'm trying to find out the DFT, and I'm also trying to find out the IDFT also. Okay, so whatever the IDFT answer we have got it, that particular answer I'm considering, and once again I'm trying to find out the DFT of it. That is nothing but I'm trying to verify the answers also. Okay, so how we can do it for finding out the DFT? It is one simple keyword, that is FFT of x comma n. And to find out the inverse discrete Fourier transform, we are using one more function, mathematical, that is the MATLAB function here, that is IFFT. Okay, that is I represents the inverse discrete Fourier transform, or IDFT. So I and FFT. Okay, so inverse fast Fourier transformation. And for inverse fast Fourier transformation, that is whatever the answer we got, I'm representing in a capital X, and that particular capital X with the endpoint DFT. That is, of course, my endpoint which has been given in the by the programmer. Okay, so yes, so these three lines is it is doing both the DFT and as well as the IDFT part. Okay, and of course, I'm trying to plot for n is equal to 0 to for length of x minus 1, with all the whatever the remaining things is the plotting of it. Of course, I'm trying to plot two things. I'm trying to plot the input, I'm trying to plot the output also. Okay, so both the things I'm trying to plot with the title and what should be in my X label, what should be in my Y label, and all those things is being taken care in this particular program. Okay, yeah, I'll just try to run this particular program. Save the program, then run the program. So it is asking for the data, the enter the time sequence. Okay, I'll just give any of the time sequence here. I've just given the time sequence as 1 2 3 4 and 4 through 4 3 2 1. I'll just take the same thing. Okay, enter the time sequence. I've just given the time sequence as 1 minus 1, 2 minus 2, 3 minus 3, 4 minus 4. Okay, with the endpoint DFT, I'm taking in the number of points it is asking. I'm just giving as 8. Okay, so it's showing me both the things. It is showing me the output, the waveforms. It is showing me the values also. So we can see my answer is 0, comma minus 2 minus j 0.8284, minus 2 minus 2j minus 2 minus 4.824, then 20.0 minus 2 plus 4 8.24j, then minus 2 plus 2j, then minus 2 plus 0.8 0.8284j. Okay, so